you all doing? This is Diosnedy Pelegrin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, please make sure you smash that subscribe button. Also, click on the notification bell so you can get notifications from updates, new videos that I upload here from time to time. Now, this video that I'm making today, that I'm shooting today, is specifically for myEcon and myEcon's compensation plan for the holidays of 2019. So we're in November. We're going to the final stretch of Q4, quarter four of 2019, and myEcon just announced its new holiday promotional price of just $27.95 to get started, as well as the new compensation plan. They just made a change back on November 2nd to their compensation plan. So I'm excited to talk about that. We've had hundreds and hundreds of people join my team specifically. So look, if you're in myEcon, follow this video, watch it, pay close attention to it as I'm going to explain to you the compensation plan. And I'm really going to deep dive. I'm going to go into the whiteboard. I'm going to deep dive and show you every aspect of the compensation plan. If you have no idea what myEcon is, or you've never been in myEcon, you have no idea what it is, this video will not talk about the products and services of myEcon. Just go ahead and click out after you watch this video. Go ahead and click out, look at my other videos around myEcon, what it's done for me and my family, what it's done for many of my team members, and you'll find also a place to get started, how to get started there. So again, this isn't about the products and services. myEcon has phenomenal products and services around financial education, credit repair, debt elimination, tax minimization, many other aspects of the products and services. This video is just purely compensation plan. So let's get into it. We're going to go ahead and show you how the compensation plan works here in myEcon. So let's go to the whiteboard. So before I kick off and we go into the whiteboard, I do want to tell you, you're going to be seeing me from time to time referring to the compensation plan overview. This is myEcon's overview of the payouts, the different generations, the tiers that they pay out, whether weekly overrides, whether residuals, and so forth. So I'm going to be referring to this document. I'm also going to go ahead and attach a Google Shared Doc Drive, link down below in the link where you can get this sheet too. Now, I do want to express that this is only good through January 3rd, 2020. So the current plan you're going to find below is only good through January 3rd of 2020 because we're in a promotional period. myEcon's only charging $27.95 for someone to get started. So you're going to see me referring to this from time to time. It's going to be a link down in the description field for you to take a look at that. So let's get to the whiteboard. So again, this video I'm going to share with you and I'm going to create with you and I'm going to show you all the ins and outs of the compensation plans. I want you to understand that this is in a perspective of you just getting started. So I want to congratulate you for making the decision of starting with myEcon, whether it's with me directly, whether it's with the thousands of team members I have in my team, or anyone in the organization myEcon. I want to welcome you and congratulate you to myEcon. So I'm going to show you how the compensation plan works in your perspective by you just getting started. So again, you made the decision, you saw the products, you saw value in them, you're implementing them. Now in this video, I'm going to go ahead in this whiteboard and just diagnose the ins and outs of this compensation plan in your scenario for someone who just got started. Now I'm also going to keep it very simple. I'm going to keep this at a level where you're going to be sponsoring 3 people. You know, you can do more than that. I've sponsored hundreds of people since I've been in myEcon. My team members have grown into the thousands. Obviously, we're not going to spend that long of a video showing you the ins and outs as your team duplicates that large. You can do the math yourself as you see this, being shown to you here on the whiteboard. But what I want to express to you is that I'm going to use the example of 3 people that you joined. So very important. I'm going to refer to those 3 sales as person A, person B, and person C. So person Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. So very simple. When you get started, the moment you start to share your link, you start to share the opportunity, the products and services, you get friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, people on social media interested in. The moment they join and they get signed up, well, we're going to go ahead and refer to person A. We're going to go ahead and refer to person A as your first sign up. So something very interesting happens with your first sign up. First and foremost, I want to let you know that when you come in myEcon, you come in at what's called a MD, or marketing director. That's what it's short for. It's the acronym for marketing director, MD. So in order to become an EVP or an executive vice president, to start really making the real money and creating base shops, you need to sponsor one person. That first person is what's called a pass-up or a roll-up. Many different network marketing businesses, MLM, many different organizations. If you've been in the industry, if not, you'll learn as you go through different businesses. Many compensation plans involve a pass-up or a roll-up. This is really to help everybody, because many people are going to be able to bring in dozens of people, but that's not many. Very few people will bring in that dozens and hundreds and thousands of people. That's the few and far. But the great majority of people really can only bring in a couple. So by having a pass-up or a roll-up, it helps even the small person. By just bringing in one person, that one person can help you bring in a second person. And I'll show you how that works. So again, back to the whiteboard. When you bring in your first sale, person A, that person just came in for $27.95. Now, in your case, because it's your first sale, you don't make the 100%. You make $10 off of your first sale. The remaining $15 that gets paid out actually rolls up to your sponsor. So it goes up to the person you joined. So the person you joined is going to be earning $15 off of your very first sale. Now, a lot of people say, well, why don't I get the full 25 and I'm sending 15 to my sponsor, and now I lost person A to my sponsor? Well, again, it goes back to what I just said. The first sale and only your first sale. Some businesses have it every third sale, fifth sale, 10th sale, whatever it is, the pass up, the roll up, whatever you want to call it. But in myEcon's case, it's only your first sale. Your very first sale is going to pass up and roll up to your sponsor. Now, I will let you know you won't lose everything that person A does going forward. They will give you what's called a 5% check match. So I'll explain how that works. So as person, check match. So as person A came in, you made $10. Your sponsor got $15 for that person you brought in, and they rolled up to your sponsor. For the life of person A, you're going to get a 5% check match of their base shop earnings. And I'll explain how the base shop works here as we get into person B and C in your base shop, because now that you've sponsored your first person, you now are an executive vice president or EVP, and you can now start working on base shop, where really base shop is where your money starts to happen. That's where you really can start seeing duplication and multiplication of your income. But again, for the life of you, you're going to be getting a 5% base shop match for your sponsor. That's it, just on the base shop, not on the additional things you're going to learn as we keep going forward and I start showing you the example of person B and person C. So I hope that makes a lot of sense on your first sale. So congratulations, you're now an executive vice president. You've got your first person in. That person actually rolled up, like I showed in the example, to your sponsor. You made $10, your sponsor made $15, and you're going to continue to get a 5% check match on their base shop earnings. Now I'll show you how that works and what that means as I start to show you how you work now with your base shop now that you're an EVP, short for Executive Vice President. So let's go ahead and erase this. We're going to go ahead and erase this. So that's it. Person A is gone. Now we're working with person B and C. But again, you're now an Executive Vice President or an EVP. You now get to work on something called a base shop. This is where you spend the majority of your time, because base shops, if you build them very wide, you can keep having people in your base shop to infinity. It doesn't stop. You want to build as many base shop deep. Now I'll show you what that means, deep, wide, in order for them to go deep. So let's go into person B. You just sponsored person B, and person B just started. That's your second person you sponsored. Again, remember A, that's it. We forgot about A. A rolled up to your sponsor. You're just going to keep getting a 5% check match. So on the base shop. So now we sponsored person B. So now by sponsoring person B, you no longer have to give the $10 away, and you make $25 off of every $27.95 promotional sale. So again, you just sponsored your second person, person B. That's $25 you've earned in commission. Don't forget the $10 you've already earned from person A. You've made a cool $35 and you've sponsored 2 people. So person B just came in, you made $25, and now person B is here in your base shop. So what happens to person B? Person B is doing exactly what you did. Person B has to go out there and become an executive vice president, get away from the marketing director by sponsoring one person. So let's say whenever that is, whether that's the same day, whether that's the next day, whether that's the next week or next month, person B eventually gets their first sale. So what ends up happening is person B gets their first sale. In this example, we're going to call that person B1. B1 came in and joined person B. This person, person B, they're going to go ahead and make what you did when you rolled up. They're going to make $10. So person B will make $10 off of the B1 sale. But you, in this example, because this is your base shop, remember his first sale is going to roll up to your base shop. That means that person B1 is actually going to pay you $15. So again, I hope that makes sense. Person B brought in person B1. B makes $10. You make $15 because this rolls up and stays in your base shop. Now person B is an executive vice president. So look what happens to person B now that they're an executive vice president. They go over here, what I like to call your super team. Not what I like to call. It's what myEcon calls your super team. And they go into what's called your generation 1. So B just sponsored their first person. Again, I'm going to go back and forth. This video is going to be very in depth, showing you all of this scenario. So person B brought in person B1. B1 pays you $15 because it's rolling up and staying in your base shop. Person B gets promoted to EVP. So now person B moves out of your base shop into your super team under your generation 1 leg. So there's B right there. So now let's go to person C. You're actively moving the business. You're making money in the business. You're promoting it, and you sponsor your third person. Your third person is now person C. So congratulations. That's not a pass up. You get the full $25 commission for them joining at the $27.95. So at this point now, you've made $25 for sponsoring person C. You made $25 for sponsoring person B, your second and your third sponsors or sales, and you made $10 from sponsoring person A, your first person. So you've made $60 from your 3 first sales, but you've also made $15 because B1 stays in your base shop because B had to get promoted to EVP, and that leaves one person in your base shop. So guess what happens? Again, the same thing we saw with your second sign up, person B. You're going to see the same thing with person C. As they're going out there promoting their business, they're going to get their first sale, and their first sale stays in your base shop because they have to roll up their first sale in order to become an executive vice president. So now C brings in C1. C1 stays in your base shop. You make $15 off of C1, and now person C, just like person B, is promoted to executive vice president, and they come to your generation 1 leg. I hope that makes sense. Very, very simple, showing you here how base shop works. Now here's the beauty of base shops and why you want to build a base shop wide, meaning why you want to get person D, E, F, G, and so on, is because check out the power of base shops. Let's say you stop recruiting. I would never encourage this. I would never tell anybody to stop recruiting. But let's say you absolutely stop recruiting, but these team members of yours are actively recruiting people. You're helping them and they're actively recruiting people. Well, because you brought in your second and third sales, that created you 2 legs here, 2 base shops. You now have an infinite base shop that can grow to infinity. here's what I mean. Person B brought in B1, person C brought in C1. Well, B1 and C1 have to do the same exact thing you did, the same exact thing B and C did. They have to go ahead and make one sale to get promoted to executive vice president. So when B1 brings in B2, you get paid again $15. And B2 doesn't go to a generational 2. That's the beauty of myEcon, is myEcon pays out on generations, not on levels. So when B2 comes in from B1, remember B2 is now the sale of one of your direct sales. So this is 3 levels down, but guess what? Because this is your base shop, when B2 makes their first sale, which pays you $15, B2 makes $10, B2 now gets promoted to your generation 1 leg. Not 2, not 3, not 5 levels down. Because remember, we don't work with levels in myEcon, we work with generations. Generation 1 now has 3 people in your super team, and I'll show you later why that's important when we go into my computer, and I'll show you how the rankings and things depend on, and the overrides. But in this example, you just got paid an easy $15 and $15 from B2, from B1 sale of B2. You made $15, and B2 just got promoted. So B2 just came in and got promoted and became a sale. Now C1 has to do the same thing. C1, oops, that's what I did wrong. B2 is actually B1. My apologies. B1 got promoted because B1 brought in B2. Now C1's doing the same exact thing. So C1 is going to go ahead and bring in C2. So C1 just gets promoted. C1 gets promoted and they go to your generation 1 leg. Now C2 is left here. So you see what happens? There's still 2 people in your base shop remaining that they need to fill out. And it continues to happen, folks. I'm going to go ahead and do one more level so you can see how the base shop works. So B2 has to do the same thing. B2 brings in B3. C2 brings in C3. Well, these all pay you $15. And B2 and C2, congratulations. Whoops, C2 and B2. Congratulations, they're now EVP under your generation 1 legs. Now let's pause for a moment and let's take a look at the scenario and what's happened to your business. And you remember, you've only sponsored 3 people. To this point, you've only sponsored 3 people. I want you to understand that you have only sponsored 3 people. I'm going to go ahead and erase D, E, F, and G here to not cause any confusions. It's important to build deep. I'm sorry, deep it's going to build on its own, but it's important for you to build base shots wide in order to have infinities base shots. But let's take a step back and understand what's happened to your business here by looking at your earnings from just sponsoring 3 people. So by you sponsoring 3 people, you brought in person A, which we know rode up to your sponsor. You're going to be getting a 5% check match. Well, person B and C were your second and third sale. So B and C have made their first sales, B1 and B2, and they got promoted to your super team, to your generation 1 leg. B1 and C1 also made their first sales, B2 and C2, so B1 and C1 went over to your generation 1 legs. B2 and C2 also made a sale, so they also got promoted and moved on to your generation legs. So now we still have B3 and C3 who were brought in by B2 and C2, and that can still build for infinity. So understand what's happened here. You have earned $25 for each one of your personal sales, because that's what you make. Once you become an executive vice president under the holiday promotional price, because right now it's $27.95 to get started, you earn $25 for every one of your personal sales in your base shop, because you've already awarded your sponsor. You don't have to pass up any more sales. However, your base shop has to pass up every one of their first sale to you. So that's $15 to infinity. Again, to infinity. In this example, we saw 1, 2, 3 people that came in just from your second sponsor that you didn't sponsor. That's $45. Same thing with person C, your third sponsor. Between them, they left an additional 3 people by sponsoring their first 3 on 3 different levels. That paid you another $45 right there. So how much have we earned? Again, in this example, you've brought in 3 people and you've earned, remember the $10 that you passed up from person A. You passed up $10 from person A. We've got what, 45 and 45, that's $90. We've got 50, that's 140. 10, that's 150. You've made $150 and you've only sponsored 3 people. $150 and you've only sponsored 3 people in this example. So that's how the base shop works. I hope that makes sense on how the base shop works and also how the pass up works. Now, before I move on to the super team, because this is where the overrides come in the override section. It's over here on the super team section. We're going to get to that in a second, but I want to make sure that you all fully understood how the base shop works and how your pass up works. On your pass up, the one thing I have not mentioned yet is this right here on the base shop. So person A that rolled up to your sponsor, as they're building their base shop, you're going to get 5% match on this number right here. So if this example was your first sale, person A, you would be earning 5% of 25, 5% of 15, 5% of 15, 5% of 15, 5, 5, 5, 5. Basically, you would take the $140 right here, 5% at 10%, that's $14, so half of that, $7. So you would earn $7 off of your the 5% check match off of the person that rode up. Again, not a very huge amount of money, but at least you don't lose everything from your first sale. But again, that's how the pass up works and the 5% check match. The 5% is off what they earn from their base shop. Because this is, in this example, this is your base shop. I gave you an example of your base shop, but person A rode up to your upline. Person A is still building a base shop. It's just in your uplines, but you're going to get a 5% match on their base shop earnings. So again, in this example, this is 50, this is 90, that's $140. You would make $7 in this example for person A if that was what they were also doing. So I hope that makes sense on how base shop works, how to build, again, if for those leaders out there, for those of you wanting to make the most money, your job is to build deep. So again, you should go and sponsor your 4th person, person D. Go sponsor your 5th person, person E. Your 6th person, person F. And then help each one of them get their first sale, because they're going to build additional base shops going down deep. And $15 happens unlimited. Again, $15 happens unlimited as they leave one person behind, because the first sale rolls up to you. That's $15 unlimited that happens nonstop in your base shop. Remember, this is all the dollar amounts I'm sharing is good through January 3rd through the promotional price. So I hope that makes sense on the base shop. I hope that makes sense on the pass-up sale, how the $15 works and how all of that stuff works. I hope you understand that, and I hope you understand how it all works. Now let's deep dive and go into the super team and go into what I absolutely love, and that's the team overrides. So I made great money on my base shop. That's how it all starts. It all starts from my base shop. But remember, as these people in my base shop are promoted, they're coming up to my generation 1 leg. But don't forget, just because they're leaving these people here, so B3 and C3 are still here waiting to make their first sale, these guys over here that got promoted because they brought in their first sale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you've got 6 people in your generation 1 leg. You've only sponsored 3 people. In this example, I'm going to go ahead and erase this. In this example, I've only sponsored person A, B, and C, but I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in my generation 1 leg. Now these 6 people are still growing their business. They want to continue to make $25 for every personal sale they make, because at this point they're now an executive vice president or higher. I'll show you how you rank up also later when I sit down on my computer and share my screen. But they're an EVP or higher. They want to consistently keep building base shops. They want to build their base shop wide and make $25 off of each one. So what happens in that situation? What happens in that situation is what I absolutely love, and that's called team overrides. This is the biggest change myEcon had. We had this last year, and then it went away for about 5-6 months, and they brought team overrides back. Sorry, Siri, I'm not in for you. But they brought team overrides back, so I'm going to show you how team overrides work. Well, these 6 people are still growing their base shop. They still want to make $25 for every single sale, or 100% for every single sale. So let's say B now brings in their second person, because remember, B brought in B1, that's their first sale, but that rolled up to your base shop. Now B no longer has to roll anything up, so they're going to be making base shop sales. Same thing with C, same thing with B1, same thing with C1, C2, and B2. They each want to consistently make more sales. So as they make sales, you're going to be paid anywhere from $1, $3, $5, or $7 off of any one of your generation 1 through 5 legs. Now I'll show you how the 1 through 5, how that becomes deeper. But again, you now start to earn anywhere from $1, $3, $5, or $7. Now you might be wondering, well, what's the difference? When do I earn $1? When do I earn $3? When do I earn $5? And when do I earn $7? In this video, I'm not going to go too much into detail on how to rank up fast. But the difference is, like I said earlier, people come in either as an EVP, EVP G, EVP P, EVP Infinity, and CEO Infinity. So these are the ranks in myEcon: Marketing Director, Executive Vice President, Executive Vice President Gold, Executive Vice President Platinum, Executive Vice President Infinity, and CEO Infinity. Those are the 6 ranks that everyone who buys an income shifting membership come in as. Marketing Director all the way to CEO Infinity. Now people might ask me, what's the stipulation for these? Well, I'm just going to list them, but there are stipulations into the max amount you can count per leg. But an MD is anybody who comes in. That's 0 sales. If you join, you get started, you're an MD. An EVP means you've made 1 sale. That's what qualifies you for an EVP. EVP Gold, you have to have 8 sales. EVP Platinum is 50. EVP Infinity, which is where I am, is 300. And CEO Infinity is 1,000. So what I mean by this, the amount that you earn for EVP, you make $1, EVP Gold, $3, EVP Platinum, $5, EVP Infinity and CEO Infinity, you make $7 on team overrides. Remember, team overrides are the team sales that happen once your people have already been promoted to EVP and they're making more base shop sales in their own base shop. You earn team overrides for life on people who land on your generation 1 through 8 legs. So I hope that makes sense. I'll do other videos explaining how the stipulation, how that works. The 1, 8, 50, 300, 1,000, because it doesn't necessarily mean the amount of people in your downline. It means the amount of people in your downline, but you can only count a maximum per leg. So you can't have one person who's the beast in your team that has 1,000 people and qualify for CEO Infinity. You have to have it spread out. It's got to be, various people in your team that have the ranking. So again, I'm going to start the erase because we're running out of space here. So I'm going to start the erase. But again, the team overrides is 1, 3, 5, or 7. I'm going to use my example because I'm an EVP Infinity, and I'm going to use this $7 example because that's what I want to show you in this example. Actually, you know what? I'll take it back because I have been saying your example, person A, B, and C. We're going to go ahead and use the EVP example and just use the $1 because you're still an EVP at this point, and we'll show you how that works here as I erase this and make some more space. So again, in your example, you've sponsored 3 people, you've made $150, and now you have 6 people, you have 6 legs. These are each one individual leg in your generation 1. Actually, to make this right, this should say C, B1, C1, and B2. This should read like this because they're each individual legs. Each one of these 6 people that all brought in their first sale and left it in the base shop got promoted to your generation 1 leg. You're going to get for infinity anywhere from $1 to $7 on all of these sales. 1 to 7, 1 to 7, 1 to 7, 1 to 7, 1 to 7. So as they make sales, you're going to make anywhere from $1 if you're an EVP or $7 if you're an infinity for every one of their sales. So let's say in this example, person B, C, all 6 of these people are doing the very minimum and they're each bringing in 1 person a week. Well, 1 person a week as a EVP, not an EVP Gold, you're going to make $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 a week for that. So in this case, you made $150 on your $150 for sponsoring those 3 people, and then those 3 people each getting 3 people. That made you $6 plus the $150. You're at $156. Now here's where it gets interesting. B, C2, C, B1, C1, B2, those 6 people who made their sales, as they bring in their first person, that first person then is going to be, when they come in and they make their sales, they're going to be promoted to what's called Generation 2. So again, as B, we're just going to go ahead and look at B in this example because we're not going to go through every single one of these scenarios. But let's say person B is building his base shop. Well, every time he builds his base shop, you're making anywhere from $1 to $7 on each one of those sales. And now more importantly is every person that comes in that he sponsors, as they become an EVP, they're going to come over here. So in this case, when B brings in their first person, once they're in your Generation 1 leg, you get paid $7, and that person lands over here in your Generation 2 leg. So again, B, as he's making more sales, going day by day, you make anywhere from $1 to $7 for each one of those sales, but that person has to go somewhere. It lands somewhere as they're promoted and they become an EVP. They go here to your Generation 1 leg. So I'm just going to do this and circle B as person B that brought in, once they've been on your Generation 1 leg, not in your base shop. Person B sponsored, let's say this is BA. BA would come over here once they become an EVP, and they're now in your Generation leg. So now you have 7 people between your Generation 1 and your Generation 2. Now the beauty of it doesn't stop. As BA has to do the same thing, they have to come in and sponsor people. When they make a sale and that person becomes an EVP, well, the same thing happens. Generation 3. Now we move on and move to Generation 3, and person BA, the person BA brought that just became an EVP, goes over here, and I'm just going to call in this example BB. But you can start to see how your generations work. Now I'm going to erase all of this. You should have already gotten all this content, and I'm going to show you how the generations work. We get paid, depending on the level that you're in, you get paid on 5 levels. So I'll show you. Generation 1, Generation 2, Generation 3, Generation 4, and Generation 5. Now, if you get to infinity, if you work hard and you get to infinity level, there is a Generation 6 until the next qualified infinity member in your downline. Now, I'll explain how that means. But let's take the example of earlier. We had person B that fell in your Generation 1 leg. Well, person B is obviously working. You're going to be making anywhere from $1 to $7. I'm just going to make that note here. You make anywhere from $1 to $7 off of every sale that happens in these generations, depending on the level that you're in. I'm also going to write here, let me see where I can fit this. Let's go ahead and put here the generations they pay out. So as an EVP, you make from Generations 1 to Generations 3. As an EVP Gold, you make from Generation 1 to Generation 4. As EVP Platinum, you make from Generation 1 to Generation 5. And as EVP Infinity and CEO Infinity, you make 1, 2, 6, or to the next qualified infinity member. and I'll explain how that works. So again, before I start looking at generations, I want you to understand that not every level, not every rank, whether you're EVP to CEO, not every rank pays you overrides on every single one of these payments. Again, not every single level or rank pays you on Generation 5 or Generation 4. All of them pay you Generations 1, 2, 3, but not all of them pay you on Gen 4, Gen 5, and not all of them obviously pay Gen 6 to infinity. So, again, understand the qualifications. EVP, which is the majority of you, when you get started, you obviously are an EVP, you only get paid out overrides on the first 3 level generations. So, again, as I showed you in this example, B was your second sale. They got promoted to your Generation 1 leg. They're gonna keep making sales. Obviously, you made, the override money. They're building you a deep base shop. You're making $15 to infinity for all those base shop sales. But now you're in the override section. They're moved on to your super team. This is what's called the super team. Very, very important that you understand, as that's a word that's used a lot. This is your super team. Your super team is every one of your team members that are in your Generation 1 to infinity legs. That's what's referred as your super team. So your super team grows this way. Person B has to keep building their base shop. As they build their base shop and people get promoted out of their base shop, they're going to be falling into your generation legs. So as B makes sales and those people become an EVP and get promoted to EVP, they're going to start falling in here. I'm just going to circle it so you understand it's not person B that moves to the generation. It's the people that are being promoted out of his base shop that are going to Generation 2. And again, if B keeps making more sales, again, as they keep ranking up to EVP, you can have person B, who's a heavy recruiter, just piling on sales here over and over and over. So in this example, I showed you how person B has made 6 sales, and those 6 sales pay you anywhere from $1, $3, $5, and $7. That's the amount of money you earn. Again, 1 through 7. In your case, you're an EVP, you're getting paid on 3 levels. So as people in your Generation 1 leg are making sales and people in your Generation 2 legs are making sales, every single week, you're earning $1 to $7 off of those sales every single week, every single Friday. So I hope that makes sense. How does Generation 3, Generation 4, Generation 5 keep piling on? Well, same thing here. These 6 people that came from B are doing the same thing. They're building their base shop. They're getting people promoted out of their base shop. When they get promoted out of their base shop, here's where they fall in, right here. Any one of these 6 people, as they're making sales, they're all coming in here, being promoted here. I'll just underline these, showing that these are people that are coming out from this generation leg being promoted. Same thing with Generation 4, same thing with Generation 5. The people that are coming in for Generation 5 are these people who are falling in your Generation 3 that are getting people promoted to EVP, and they keep falling in and filling Generation 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to infinity. Now, for those of you who are hard workers, heavy recruiters, and you have the work ethics and you get to the high level of infinity, that's huge, because at infinity, you can get paid anywhere from $1 to $7 from Generations 1 through 5, but you also get $2 for your Generation 6. So $2 for Generation 6 through the next infinity. So what I mean by that is you can actually get $2 for Generation 6, Generation 7, Generation 8, Generation 9, Generation 10, until it hits the next infinity team member in your downline. So what I mean by that is, if you have an infinity team member at your Generation 7, for example, that's where you'll stop making those $2 bills at that level. I hope that makes sense on what it means from Generation 6 to infinity. A lot of people come into myEcon and think that it's all unlimited, that you get overrides at unlimited or infinity. It can if you have no infinity team members in your downline, but it's very unlikely, because for those of us, especially like me, I have probably anywhere from 7 to 9 infinity members in my downline. So there's a level where it cuts off for me and I no longer make overrides. So I hope that all makes sense on how the generations work. It's very, very important to understand generations and not levels. because myEcon's pays on generations. So you can have one generation that has 600 people and another generation that has 100 people, or one generation that has, generation 1 that has 7 people, and then generation 2 that has 400 people. It all depends on where your builders, where your team members are, and what the generations are. So I hope that all makes sense on EVP, the levels. Remember, EVP only get paid on generation 1, 2, and 3. EVP Gold would be generations 1 through 4. EVP Platinum would be generations 1 through 5. And EVP Infinity and CEO Infinity would be EVP 1, generation 1 all the way to generation 6, down to the next Infinity team member in your downline. So we've covered. So let's talk about what we've covered. We've covered the pass up, the roll up. I explained to you how it passes up. You saw in the example on the whiteboard. Person A, your very first sale rolled up to your sponsor. You made $10. Your sponsor made $15. You'll continue to get a 5% base shop check match for all of their earnings in their base shop for the life that they're active and they keep recruiting. Person B and C, that started your base shop. Those were your first 2 sales in your base shop, your second and third personal sales, but your first 2 sales in your base shop. And then you guys saw how that builds $15 payouts for you down to infinity. If your team members just keep growing, you work with your base shop members, you can see all the reports in the back office, you start to see how you can get $15 to infinity. And now we just wrapped up the generations and showed you how the super team works. Generations 1 through 5, and then 6 down to infinity. Your super team really is when you start to see those team overrides. So I hope that all makes sense. I hope you understand how that all works. Now there's one thing, actually there's 2 things still missing in this video. I apologize for being long, but there's a lot to talk about in the compensation plan, and I wanted to provide the absolutely best compensation plan explanation out there on YouTube. And I know this will be it because I'm very detailed. I like to show things as far depth to make it make sense for just about anybody. So there's 2 more things that we're still missing from the compensation plan. So you've already seen how the MD and how the pass up works, how you make money off of the pass up and the roll up. You've also seen the base shop, how you make money off of the base shop. You've also seen team overrides, how you make money on team overrides. Now let's talk about residuals. Let's talk about Dream Team Residuals, which is what myEcon calls it. This is where you actually start to earn a dollar amount for the amount of active members that you have in myEcon that pay their monthly subscription month over month. Because in this example, I didn't dollarize all of these $1 and $7 bills, because we all know you make anywhere from $1 to $7 for each one of these sales here. I didn't dollarize that, but let's just say in the example I showed you guys just previously, it was about $150 earned, give or take $150, $170 here and there with the overrides. But let's look at what that does with team overrides, because the beauty of myEcon is that weekly overrides, which weekly overrides, which I just showed you here recently on the super team section, that's what I call the money today that keeps your pockets, keeps you happy with payouts today. But let's talk about the potential that there is in myEcon as you build a long-term and great team and a long-term strategy with your team here in myEcon. So let's go ahead and race this board and get going here with the Dream Team Residuals. Okay, so let's talk about Dream Team Residuals. So Dream Team Residuals, also known as DTR, this is where we get paid month over month for the amount of active team members on our super team. So I just got done showing you what a super team comprised of, your generation 1 through 5 leg, generation 6 to infinity if you're an infinity member. And obviously the rankings, it depends what rank you are, whether EVP, Gold, Platinum, Infinity, or CEO. But with Dream Team Residual as an essence is paid out like team overrides. You're paid out for those same people, with the exception on it's not about them joining each week and getting paid out for that. It's about retention. It's about them understanding the value, the business of myEcon staying active and paying their $34.95 auto ship. So as your team members continue to grow month over month, because again, as you and your team are building the business, it's growing month over month. Your business, if you're working a business, shouldn't be decreasing. It should only be increasing. So that means the amount of your Dream Team Residuals should also increase as you and your team builds. So Dream Team Residuals is very simple. Just like team overrides, they're paid out at 1, $3, $5, and $7, depending on the level that you're in. If you're an EVP, you're paid at $1 for each Dream Team residual. If you're gold, $3, platinum, $5, EVP Infinity and CO Infinity, $7. So I'm going to use my example to show you how my check pretty much looks like on a monthly basis with my Dream Team residual. So and I'll kind of show you. I'll show you this just so you can see the possibilities that exist in myEcon. I'm going to show you this is what I saw when I first joined and got started with myEcon. The beauty is that today, now with the compensation we plan, there is no wait time. You get paid Dream Team residual the moment someone starts. So we're in November right now. This holiday promotion just started for $27.95. We're in November. So everyone who joins now in November and who's been active before now, I'm going to get paid Dream Team residual the moment they pay their next $34.95. So for everyone that I bring in now in the month of November, when they pay their $34.95 in December, I'll get that Dream Team residual in January. I hope that makes sense. Again, I'm going to say it again. For every brand new person that I bring in or that my team brings in now in November, they're going to pay their, in 30 days, they're going to be billed $34.95. When they pay that $34.95, that's when I qualify. And then in January, that's when I'll see that payout for those people who got started now in November. There is no delay. It's just obviously you get paid when they make their $34.95. They process it, and then they go ahead and send it out the very next month. So let's show you how that works. So, you know, realistically, the way I typically saw it is I'm just going to show you my example is my team on average when we're working with our business, when we're exploding, especially now on this Dream Team residual, on this holiday promotion, my team is typically growing from anywhere from 300 to 500 people a week. So let's go ahead and take the lesser number and say 300 people. So 300 times 4, because we know it's a month, that's 1,200 people a month that are joining my organization. Anywhere from generation 1 through generation 6 to infinity, I'm seeing about 1,200 people. Let's say that of those 1,200, because of the generations, remember I get paid on generations 1 through 5 at $7, and then 6 to infinity, 6 to the next infinity at $2. So let's just say for the full $7, I'm going to see it at about at least 75% of that. Actually, we'll make it easy. We'll just say 70%. And again, this number is different for all of you. I'm just using what my numbers typically look like. So 1,200 at 70% is basically, that's 840 people. So 840 people is what I would typically anticipate to get from this 1,200 based on my team. Again, these are people who are growing. So let's say my first month I have 840 people. I just got started. I have 840 people. I'm in EVP Infinity. I'm going to get 840 times 7. That's my first Dream Team residual based on the numbers that I see. Obviously, if you do the math, you would find out that 840 times 7 is $5,880. That's my Dream Team residual check come in January or December, when these 1,200, which end up being 840 times 7, because that's what I qualify to get paid for, that's a $5,880. Now here's the beauty of Dream Team residuals. It grows. As long as your team is active and you're still growing, it grows. So these 840, let's say that, I'm just going to go ahead and say 60% of those stay active. So again, 840 of those go ahead and stay active, or 60% of those stay active. 840 times 60% at 60% is 504 people for my second residual. Now, some of you might say, well, that's actually less numbers than what you had before. Don't forget the people that were already active. So if I take the 504 and the people that are coming in, because again, like I told you, my team is bringing in 300 to 500 people a week, which is at minimum 1,200 people a month. Well, let's just say, just again, like I saw, we're doing another 840 people that month. 840 plus 5, whoops, 840 plus 504 is 1,000. This is actually 1,344 people. Again, I came to this number 1,344 because I took a percentage of my 840 that stayed active, 540. But then remember, we're growing our team. Every week we're still bringing in more and more people. That's more people. That's going to add up to that. So that's 1,344 people, and 1,344 times 7, that's $9,408. As you can see there, you can see how that jumps up. I'm only going to show you one more to show you the possibilities. Let's say of these 1,344, again, 60% stay active. That's, oops, I think I did that wrong, 1,344. 60% stay active, that's 806 people. But remember, I still have my team doing anywhere from 1,200, 300 to 500 people a week. Let's say that's 840. So 840 plus that 806, that's 1,613 people. So my third month, if we consistently continue to build and grow more and more people month over month, my third month, I could likely have 1,600 people in my super team. That can net me an $11,286 check. So the reason why I show you these astronomical numbers is when people ask me, how have you made almost $200,000 in the last year and a half with myEcon? And it's this. I get paid on multiple levels. And you have to understand, myEcon is a very, very affordable business with great products and services, as well as a great compensation plan. So there's an incentive for people to grow their business, stay active, utilize the products, which helps me also make these big checks and will also help you as you grow your team. You can see here how my residual check can go from a $5,800 a month check to another $9,400 a month check to $11,000 a month check. That's just one check a month. That's not counting the overrides as well. So that's the power of the Dream Team Residual. That's how it works. I just wanted to show you that. Look, it works for all of you the same. Don't look at my math. If you're growing your team by, let's say, 100 people a month, well, the same thing. The first month you'll have 100 people. But then the second month, you're growing by 100 people. A percentage of these people are staying active. So let's say 100 people, you're growing it, 60-70% stay active. That's 170 the next month. But then the following month, you're growing by about 100 people a month. Of these 170, again, another 70-80% stay active. Let's say that's 100 people plus the 200. Now you have 200 plus people in there. The following month, the same thing. The majority of these stay active. Let's say 125, 130 stay active, and you're growing by 100 a month. That's 240 plus, and so forth. Then 280 plus, and then 300 plus. You can get to a year later, and if you're growing by 30, 40, 50 every single month, a year later you can have a team that's growing by 100. Within 12 months, you can be at 700 to 800. And just do the math. By that time, in 10, 12, 11 months, you're growing by 100 people a month, which isn't very hard. That's only 25 people in your super team a week. 800 times, you're likely a platinum by then. What's that? 700 to 800 times 5. You're looking at $3,500 to $4,000 a month, folks. $3,500 to $4,000 a month on 700 to 800 being an EVP platinum, which is typical when you have that many people. You're at least a platinum. That's $3,500 to $4,000 every single month in Dream Team Residual, guaranteed, because your people are just paying their $34.95 auto ship. That's not counting the weekly overrides. That's not counting the base shop. That's not counting anything additional. That's what you're earning additional within 10 or 12 months. So what I'll tell you is, do you have the patience to grow your business this consistent and persistent every single day and every single month, to go from 100 people just your first month to 700 to 800 people within the first 10, 12, 13 months, and now you're getting up to $4,000 a month in residual? Most people in this country, in America, aren't making that much money a month. I mean, they're not. I'm sorry, they're not. The average family is making 60-some thousand. That means if you divide husband and wife, that's typically anywhere from 30 to 35,000 is the average of a single person in the USA. Well, I just showed you how in less than a year, you can grow your team consistently between you and your team leaders. You can grow your team where within 12 to 15 months, you could be making $4,000 a month on autopilot. $4,000 a month on autopilot, minimum $4,000 a month on autopilot. What is that? 4,000 times 12, that's $48,000 just on Dream Team Residual. Right there, you're making most than what the average single person in the USA is making just on Dream Team Residual. That's not counting the other hundreds and thousands of dollars a week you could be making from the weekly overrides, from your personal sales. And I haven't mentioned product sales. I'm not going to go in this video because it already ran long enough, but you also do make money off of your product sales. If you look at your compensation sheet, you're going to see that you make a 3%, 7%, 10%, and 13% off product sales. Meaning that if anyone on your super team or anyone in your team, depending on the levels that you're in, just like I showed you, makes a one-time credit sale, or someone buys a vitamin, or some of the products that are in the back office, there's roadside assistance, there's identity theft, there's credit monitoring services, identity protection, there's pills, vitamins, there's all sorts of products a la carte in myEcon's back office. Well, depending on the level that you can come into, you can get anywhere from 3%, 5%, 10%, and 13% off of all of your teams selling those products based on the customer value of each one of those products. Again, I can show that in other videos. I personally see anywhere from $5, $10, $15, $20 a week just from the product sales, individual a la carte sales. So, there's multiple ways to make money in myEcon. At the end of the day, it's all about getting your team members plugged in and connected with the products and the services. Look, this is very, very possible. I want you to understand that just in the example I showed you, which isn't very difficult, that's 25 people a week that you and your team have to grow. That's collectively. That doesn't mean you by yourself. That could mean, anywhere from 15 to 20 people on your team every single week working, making one sale. That's it. To make 100 within 12 to 15 months, within a year and a half, you can get your team to 700 to 800 deep, getting paid anywhere from $5 a head because you're platinum at that moment, because at that level, you should be at minimum a platinum. Guys, that's $3,500 to $4,000 a month just in Dream Team Residual, not counting the pass up, the overrides, the base shop sales, the product sales that I just mentioned as well. That's not counting all of that stuff. That's just counting the Dream Team Residual. In this country, in the United States of America, the average income for a single person, just one person, is $34,000 to $36,000. Well, I just showed you how that's very possible within 12 to 15 months here in myEcon, just with the Dream Team Residual, aside from the weekly income. I mean, picture making $3,500 to $4,000 a month just on the residual minimum, plus making another $500 to $2,000 a month from the weekly overrides and all the other ways you get paid every single week. So very, very powerful stuff. That's why myEcon is the best business out there to be in. It gives you a business from home where you can write off a lot. That's stuff you can learn in the products. But look, I'm going to end this video because it ran a lot longer than what I expected. But if you get to know me, you get to understand me, I love to go deep down, digest everything, explain everything. I'm a very thorough kind of guy. I hope everyone who watched this video took something out of it. You understood the compensation plan more. We dug it in and dug it out. So congratulations to you for sticking through the end. We went through it all. What I will tell you is, look, whether you're on my team, thank you for being our team. Thank you for being part of the team. I really, really appreciate every single one of you on my team. It's in the thousands. So I appreciate you. If you're not on my team and you're on someone else's team, hit me up at any time. If you need any help, have questions, want to talk, look me up on Facebook, look me up on Instagram, subscribe to this channel, obviously. Give this video a thumbs up. It's very, very important. Hit that notification bell because I'm always going to be adding more and more videos. But and look, for those of you who aren't in myEcon at all, I'll also leave a link down in the description box. Get started with the best team in the business. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I want to thank you again very much. Again, final time, subscribe to this channel. Make sure you look forward to future videos. And as always, thank you for watching, and God bless you all.